my name is Leah Resendez. I am the program specialist for the learning communities at Cabrillo. My job is very similar to Lydia's, and I do a lot of student support work. So one of the things that I always provide for my students, usually in the fall semester, is a little mini scholarship workshop. And that is what we are doing today. I'm just going to go over some basic information about scholarships. I know a lot of students are interested in what is a scholarship? How do I apply for one? What goes into it? How much money can I receive? There's a lot of different questions that I've been asked. So I've answered a few of these through this presentation. But if you do have any questions, please feel free, those of you that are attending right now, to drop them in the chat. And either Lydia or I will see them and we can definitely get to them. And if I'm in the middle of presenting something and you have a question about what I'm presenting right then and there, please go ahead and drop it in the chat right away. I'm happy to stop and answer questions too. So you don't need to wait till the very end unless you want to. All right, so let's get started. So this is a scholarship workshop with scholarship information inside. The contents of this workshop, so here's what you'll find. What are scholarships? How do scholarships work? Where can you find available scholarships? Tips for writing a personal statement, and I'll go over a brief overview of Cabrillo College scholarships, so scholarships that are specific for Cabrillo College students. So this is one of the quotes that I always liked when I talk about scholarships for my students. It's from Nelson Mandela. It says, "A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. But when you add to that a literate tongue or pen, then you have something very special." So all of you, I'm sure, have a fantastic head and a really great heart. It's about adding your education to that, mixing it all together, and what pops out is something amazing. And this is how you're going to become successful students, is by going through the programs like you're in now and, trying your hand at applying for scholarships. So all of you do have something very special. So here's our introduction. What are scholarships? So scholarships are like educational gifts. They are free to students and they're offered to students from a wide variety of majors. No matter if you're planning on getting a certificate or if you're getting an associate's degree, you're transferring on to university, or maybe you don't even know yet. All different types of students can qualify for different scholarships. Some are specific to certain majors, while others are a little more open to students, but any student can have the opportunity to look into scholarships and apply for them. How do scholarships work? So not every scholarship is going to be the same. I say that there's like an umbrella term for scholarships. There's a kind of a broad range, and most of them want you to meet certain requirements or have certain requirements, but others are a little more specific. So they break it down into two categories. Scholarships are either merit-based, so they're given based on your academic records or your achievements in school. And then the other scholarships are need-based. So they're given to students based on a financial need or a situational need. So those are the two, merit and need-based. And again, who can receive these types of scholarships? So you can. Students enrolled in any type of educational support program at any level can receive a scholarship. Sometimes I have students that have come to me and they're like, "Oh, I've only completed one semester, or I haven't even finished my first semester. Can I apply for a scholarship?" Yes, there are scholarships out there that you can apply for at any level. Some scholarships are for a certain group of students, such as if you are a family member of a veteran, if you're a mom, or you have a specific major, there's scholarships just for you. And things like age, gender, race, education level, and experience do not matter. Scholarships are for every student. So sometimes you may see that there may be a few more scholarships for, say, specific moms or women, but that doesn't mean, guys out there, that there aren't scholarships that you could apply to as well. You just have to keep looking for the ones that are going to be the perfect fit for you. And this is the big question that students always ask me first. Do I have to pay back scholarships? Scholarship money that you receive? No, you do not have to pay back scholarships. Scholarships are gifts that do not need to be repaid, and scholarships are different from receiving something like a Pell Grant or financial aid. So if you're to receive a scholarship, you do not have to pay it back. And it sounds too good to be true. Is there a catch? There really is not, I've never seen any catches that come to a scholarship. If there is a catch, it probably is not a legitimate scholarship. Scholarships may ask you to do things like speak at one of their events or write a thank you letter to the people who contributed to the scholarship fund, but you should not have to do anything, that's outrageous. There's nothing that has to be repaid. It may just be a simple thank you, or in the future, can you come speak to our members, things like that. And how much money are scholarships worth? So scholarships come at all different amounts. Some may cover the entire cost of tuition, and others are smaller, maybe a few $100s, $200, $300, $400 each. But those do stack up, and they can add up to a large amount if you're applying for multiple scholarships. These are some common myths about scholarships. A lot of students come to me and they say, well, I believe that scholarships are only for top scholars and athletes, like those students that are getting 4.0s every semester, or they are the star quarterback playing for their college. That is a false statement. Scholarships are not only for top scholars and athletes. Many scholarships do not even take grades or athletics into consideration. That's not to say that all of them don't. Some do consider a GPA, but even then, it doesn't mean you have to have a 4.0 GPA. There have been students that have under a 4.0 GPA and they get some of the top scholarships. So of course it does help, and it's always a goal that you want to shoot for, to have good grades, but that is not going to keep you from receiving scholarships, or it shouldn't stop you from applying for scholarships. The other common myth is that you have to be a great writer to apply for scholarships. This is one that a lot of my students come to me, especially my first semester students. They're like, I'm not a great writer. I never have been a good writer. I'm really nervous about writing a scholarship essay. Tell them, don't worry. It's not about so much about how you're writing it. It's what you're writing about. It's how you're sharing your story that really counts. There are a lot of people that can help you go over your scholarship applications and your scholarship essays to help you catch those little, grammatical errors or spelling issues that you might want to fix, but don't let that stop you from doing a scholarship application. And the last, another one is, a small award isn't worth it. Sometimes scholarships can be as small as maybe like $100, and somebody says it's not worth the time and effort to do that. But if you think about it, applying for several small scholarships at $100 or $200 each can actually really add up. So it is worth your time. If you want to invest a little bit of time into it, you can make some money that will help you with school. So there's all the way from $100 to $10,000, $20,000. Scholarships come in at all different money levels, essentially. And this is the one that I've heard from every single student I have ever helped apply for a scholarship. This is what I always hear them say: I'm not gonna get it, or it's too hard. So all of these students, these are usually the two things they'll tell me. I'm not gonna get it is the most common one, and it's too hard is the second most common. So like many good things, scholarships do take a bit of hard work. The old saying, any good thing you do in life involves hard work. They also do take a large amount for you to believe in yourself. I know when I tried to think about applying for my very first scholarship, I had that same reaction. Why would they give a scholarship to me? I'm not doing anything special. I'm not an exceptional student. I didn't have perfect grades. I wasn't an athlete. But I had a mentor kind of explain this process to me, that it's everyday people that are receiving these scholarships. You don't need to be incredibly exceptional to be able to get scholarships. So believing in yourself goes a long way, and putting in the effort is well worth it. And the worst thing that can happen is you don't get it. The best thing that can happen is you get it and you have additional money to help with your day-to-day expenses or educational expenses. So like, I always love this little guy down here, the "you can do it" kid. So he says, you can do it. You can apply for those scholarships. So where are these scholarships that you speak of? We have Scooby-Doo and the gang there. They're all looking for some scholarships. Where can you find scholarships? How do you find them? Here are some tips about finding scholarships. So the first thing is, scholarships are available at different points in different semesters throughout the year. So sometimes you may look for scholarships and you don't see anything. That doesn't mean that for the rest of the year, there's not going to be anything. Keep checking back. I say check back every few months or at least every semester to see what scholarships are available. The first place to check for Cabrillo College students is the Cabrillo Scholarship Binder. So you can find it online through the financial aid page. There's a separate tab on the left-hand side. It says Scholarship Information tab. If you click on that, it will take you to what's called the Cabrillo Scholarship Binder. In there, there's kind of another link towards the top where you can open up a separate page with it, but there will be a full list of all sorts of scholarships that are available. So some will be specific to Cabrillo, others will be local scholarships from businesses and organizations, and then they may even list national scholarships. And on the sides of those, it'll have the requirements, like this is only for engineering students, or this is only for parents. So there's different, you can scroll through all of them and see which ones are available. It'll also list on the right-hand side of that when the scholarship is open or if it is closed. So right now, if you go and look at the scholarship binder, you'll see a lot of scholarships are already closed. I've noticed it's more common for scholarships to be open in the spring than in the fall. So there are some select ones that are open every fall, but more so once you start getting into the spring semester is when more scholarships open up. Another great option for looking for scholarships is the Career One Stop. So the US Department of Labor has a free scholarship search tool, and you can go online through the US Labor Department and search their scholarships, and these are nationwide scholarships. And the other nice thing about that is the scholarships that are listed have to be verified through the US Department of Labor. So, you're not going to run into those kind of shady scholarships that might be out on there, out in the world. Another great one to look at is foundations and organizations. So I know a lot of local foundations and organizations and even religious groups in our area offer scholarships. It may be if you are a member of that organization or your parents are, or you know someone who is, or they can just be giving them out to anyone. My very first scholarship was from the Seroptimus Foundation. So it's a women's foundation, and they do community work and they give back to women who are looking to better their education. And I had no clue who they were before I received the first scholarship. So there are a lot of organizations out there that are looking to give back to their community, and by doing scholarships is one of the ways they give back. Also, the last one is businesses. A lot of employers offer scholarships to their employees or to the children or dependents of their employees. So maybe if you work for, a large organization, or if your parents work for a large company, it might be worth having them ask their bosses or their HR department if they have scholarship programs. Because I know a lot of local companies, especially like, agriculture companies or technology companies, those offer scholarships to students as well. So you can check all of those different ways, and just make sure when you're looking at scholarships that you are looking at them through websites or through ways that are safe. Like if you just do a Google search for scholarships, it may not always pull up legitimate scholarships. There are fake ones out there. And the best way to spot a fake one is if they ever ask you, send me $30 when you submit your scholarship form. That's a no right there. That is a fake. You do not have to give them money to try and get back money. That's not the way it works. So make sure that when you're looking for scholarships that you're looking at legitimate scholarships. And if you're ever kind of like, I'm not sure, look into it further. But these ones, the ones that I've all listed, are good ways to find legitimate scholarships.
Yeah, and I just want to let you guys know I put some of the web pages that Leah was talking about in the chat, and also a scholarship that I applied to and was able to receive was through the Hispanic Scholarship Fund, and this was a great scholarship. So I put that information too if you're interested in applying. And I just looked it up, and the deadline was February 15th.
There you go. So you've got time for that one. Okay. All right. So let's talk about personal statements. One piece of a lot of scholarships is they ask students to write personal statements or scholarship statements. Now that's where the big writing piece that comes in for scholarships. And with a personal statement, The nice thing about writing a personal statement is a lot of times you can kind of recycle your personal statements. I know I've recycled mine. So, with personal statements, it is just sharing your story. So, a lot of scholarships want to know these three basic things. So, who you are, what you want to achieve, whether it's educational or career oriented, and how you plan on doing it. So something like, I am Leah. I started coming to Cabrillo when I was, gosh, how old was I? I think about 22, we'll say. I started coming to Cabrillo when I was 22. My major is this. I would like to someday be a doctor. And I plan on achieving this by finishing my associate's education at Cabrillo and then transferring on to such and such university, doing my residency, all of this. So that's kind of a brief view of what a personal statement is. And you can always add into it too. Now, people always want to know, how personal do I have to be with my personal statement? Do I have to write down every single thing that's ever happened to me in my life? No, not necessarily. How personal you get in your personal statement is entirely up to you. And the good thing to remember is your personal statement is a chance to set yourself apart from other students who are applying for these scholarships. So they're looking for personal statements that have passion behind them, personality, authenticity. They want to see who you are as a student and who you are as a person. So you're actually showcasing yourself in writing your personal statement. Because say, for example, if Lydia and I both wrote personal statements and we said, we're both nursing majors, we're both the same age, we're both going to the same school, we give the exact same information, they're going to look at it and go, Lydia, Leah, I don't see a difference between these two. Okay, we're going to give it to Lydia. But if Lydia went, this is my dream and this is what I want to do and this is how I'm going to accomplish it, they're going to look at mine and go, Leah, you didn't put anything down here. I don't know who you are from this. We're going to give it to Lydia because we're more inspired by her story. We know what she wants to do. And the other side of that is some students don't fully know what they want to do yet. And that's totally okay. The great thing about coming to college is you're figuring those things out along the way, but at least have an idea. If you know you want to work in the medical field someday, but you don't know exactly what you want to specialize in or exactly what you want to do in the medical field, at least you know that you want to be in the medical field. So have some long-term dream, some long-term goal, and a few ideas of how you're going to get there. And put that all together in one big pot, and that's how you can pull together a great personal statement. Now, some structural tips for how to do personal statements. Get down a good structure and outline. So same thing as if you're writing a paper for a class, you want to work on a structure and an outline. You want to make sure that you're hitting the mark for goals. What are your goals? Add in that flavor, that spice, that personality, that you're hitting those key points that we talked about in the other slide, who you are, what you want to achieve, how you're going to achieve it. So those are key points. Check for spelling. So we have all kinds of different spelling programs that will automatically check through spelling for you. Go ahead and just run it through, make sure it looks good. And also follow the rules. Some scholarships have word limits for personal statements. So they may see, you may see on there, it says like 300 words. Some scholarships are very strict about that and they're like, do not go over 300 words. Other ones are like, if you put in 350 or 400, it'll be okay, but stay as close as possible because sometimes they have a lot of statements to read through and the last thing you want to do is have them read halfway through your personal statement and they go, okay, I need to move on to the next one. So keep it as simple as you can with hitting all these key points. And then if you need help with your personal statement, reach out. I've learned that there are a lot of people out there that are more than willing to help you go through your personal statements. So the first thing you want to do is to make a rough draft. So go through those structure and outline, your goals, your personality, the key points. And then after that, once you have that down, you can ask people to help you go over it. So ask your peers, ask your friends, your brothers, your sisters, family members, mentors. If you have a mentor, that's a great person to go to with your personal statement. And even your English instructors. I know when I did my first personal essay, I asked my English instructor at the time if she would be willing to take a look at my essay to see if it looked good you know, from the personal essay standpoint, and also was it grammatically correct and formatted correctly and all of that. So there are a lot of people out there that will want to help you do your personal statement, but make sure that you give them enough time to read it over and an idea of what the scholarship is asking for. Personally, I am always happy to help my students go over their personal essays and their scholarship applications, but it's kind of hard when they come to me 48 hours before it's due and they say, Leah, here, read this. I really need you to look at this right now. And they don't tell me what the scholarship is for or what they're trying to accomplish with it. And I'm sitting here trying to figure it all out. So it's easier if you give yourself, definitely you want to give yourself time, and then also give whoever's looking over your scholarship time to give you good feedback. So ask for help if you need it. Okay, so this is the piece where I'm going to talk about the Cabrillo College Scholarship. So Cabrillo does offer several different scholarships that are specific to Cabrillo College students. And you will see them, there's a subsection in the scholarship binder that lists information just for Cabrillo College scholarships. And I'm going to briefly go over that here too. With the Cabrillo College Scholarship, it is funded through private donations to the Cabrillo College Foundation, and scholarships are awarded to a selected group of Cabrillo College students who show academic promise, scholastic achievement, and community or campus involvement. So those are the things that they're looking for. The application also places students in considerations for scholarships that are generated through the Cabrillo College Foundation, as well as some private scholarships throughout the year. So if you're applying for a Cabrillo College scholarship, or what's called the Cabrillo General Scholarship, you may also have the opportunity to have that scholarship information submitted to private donors who donate to the Cabrillo Foundation. Sometimes we have donors that come in and say, I want to help students that are in, you know, studying in health sciences. So I have this much money. Anybody who is a health science student that fills out the general scholarship, send them our way, and you may end up getting a second scholarship as well. So there's different multiple ones, all by doing the one application. And Cabrillo scholarship awards range between $500 and $2,500. And they are to be dispersed beginning fall of the following school year. So with the application for the Cabrillo General Scholarship, it is in the spring semester. So it is always available after the fall semester ends. So it'll be available after this fall 2020 semester ends. And then it will be, it says right there, February 5th of 2021 is going to be the scholarship deadline for that. How students can apply is you must be enrolled in and complete a minimum of 6 units in the fall semester. So right now you have to be enrolled in and complete a minimum of 6 units. They want you to maintain a 2.75 GPA, have submitted financial aid. It does not mean that you have to receive financial aid, but you at least have to have submitted a financial aid application, and you follow all the instructions that are a part of the scholarship. So those are the things that you need to do to make sure that you get the Cabrillo College Scholarship. And the one thing that I notice the most about the Cabrillo Scholarship is a lot of students know about it, but a lot of them do that whole, I won't get it. It's too hard. I don't want to apply. So then what happens is the small group of students do apply. You know, Lydia gets the $500 one. Lydia also gets the $1,000 one. Lydia gets the $2,500 one because nobody else applied. So they just give it all to Lydia, which is great for Lydia, but that also means that you're missing out because you didn't apply. So some years, same student is awarded multiple scholarships because nobody else applied, and they just have the money there waiting for you to come and take it. And like I said at the beginning of the presentation, scholarship money is free money for you. It is an educational gift for you to continue your education or make coming to school easier. So it is not money that has to be paid back. The only cost of a scholarship is a little bit of your time. So I do encourage you, if you are considering still being a student next spring and you have taken 6 units this fall, to look into applying for the Cabrillo Scholarship in the spring semester, and it will be available until February 5th. All of the information can be found on that scholarship binder, and Lydia said she shared the links for that too as well. All right, so as we're wrapping this up, here is a reminder of the scholarship process, just brief 4 steps. So step 1 is to find a scholarship. So go to those scholarship binders, the local organizations, looking online through the US Department of Ed, the other links that Lydia shared with you. Second step is to read over the requirements carefully. Make sure that you understand if you would qualify, potentially qualify for receiving that scholarship. You know, you don't want to be you don't want to be a man who is applying for a women's only scholarship. They won't even read your scholarship because you don't qualify. Or you don't want to be an engineering major applying for a culinary arts scholarship. You want to make sure that these are scholarships that could potentially be for you. Step 3 is to fill out the application and personal statement. So work on those personal statements and application requirements. Step 4 is triple check everything. Go through the process all the way from step 2, reading it over, filling it out, make sure everything looks good, and then make sure you submit it. I have worked with students and we have submitted it all the way up to like the minute before it is due. I do not recommend doing that. Give yourself plenty of time, but you can submit it right up to the very last second. And sometimes some scholarships I've seen will extend their deadline because not enough students have applied or no one has applied yet. So make sure that you're keeping an eye on when the deadline is due for every scholarship. Okay, so Soledad O'Brien, here's another quote. I like to start and finish with quotes. So Soledad O'Brien says, "I've learned that fear limits you and your vision. It serves as blinders to what may be just a few steps down the road for you. The journey is valuable, but believing in your talents, your abilities, and your self-worth can empower you to walk down an even brighter path, transforming fear into freedom." How great is that? How great is that? I know when I applied or when I started thinking about applying to my very first scholarship, I was frightened and I had that self-doubt. The why would they pick me? I'm no one exceptional. But through my mentors encouraging me to apply, by attending scholarship workshops that encouraged me to apply, by having people that were willing to help me along the journey, it transformed me into believing in my talents and my self-worth and the journey that took me down an even brighter path. And I was very fortunate to receive several scholarships, some very tiny, some definitely not so tiny. And each one helped me not only financially, but it gave me a stronger sense of who I was as a strong and accomplished student. So I always encourage students to go for it. It takes nothing except for a little bit of your time and effort, and the rewards can be great, numerous.